Tesla bulls today seriously got excited and the stock is up. And if you like this green color, click the like button. You need to watch at least the first 5 minutes, otherwise you will be misinformed. So here's what's happening. Shanghai eases data export curb saw by Tesla? This is potentially a really big deal for Tesla since about 1/3 of Tesla's fleet is in China. Seems like that trip to China is paying off. If this data deal with the Chinese authorities includes data which can be used for training Tesla's FSD, then this could accelerate Tesla's path to full autonomy for sure. Because we know now that the main thing that's limiting FSD's progress is the number of interventions that Tesla has. Tesla has more data than anyone else, and still, Elon is basically saying we need more data, more interventions. It's not a coincidence that he was in China earlier. Now, this is Reuters, so we have to take it with a grain of salt. But it does look like Shanghai has eased some restrictions on exporting data out of the country that would allow Tesla to train FSD in its US data centers. Even more, Tesla is rumored to be building an AI training cluster within Shanghai. Exports of the top NVIDIA chips, of course, to China are restricted, so it's unclear if this would involve NVIDIA chips or Tesla's Dojo chips, or both. Now, if Tesla Dojo is not under the same restrictions as the NVIDIA chips, then US government really messed up royally, but often they do. And there's another story from Reuters. Musk pushes plan for China data to power Tesla's AI ambitions. Tesla is pushing ahead with plans to power the global development of its self-driving system with data from China that could be processed within the country, part of a strategic shift by Elon Musk, according to people with knowledge of the work. As part of that effort, Tesla has been developing plans for a data center in China to train the algorithm needed for more fully autonomous vehicles. However, it was not clear if Tesla would proceed with both options for handling self-driving data from China, data transfer, and a local data center, or if it was developing parallel plans as a hedge. On top of that, setting up a data center in China for FSD development would require Tesla to work with a Chinese partner, maybe like Baidu. Two other sources said there's also a potential hardware sourcing challenge. Tesla had talks with NVIDIA about acquiring graphic processing units for a China data center, but US sanctions bar NVIDIA and its partners from selling its most advanced chips in China. Elon previously expressed opposition to a China-based data center, also because of a potential technology transfer. He didn't say that explicitly, but it's definitely on his mind. Since 2021, Tesla has stored data collected by its Chinese CVs in Shanghai. Over that time, Tesla's China team has been seeking approvals from Chinese regulators to transfer data out of the country, but with no success so far, I guess. But under a 1-year pilot project, companies located in the area where Tesla's factory is in Shanghai will be allowed to transfer certain data without needing further security assessments. At least 5 automakers, Hyundai, Mazda, Toyota, Volkswagen, and Nissan, have approvals to transfer some of their data out of China, but none of those approvals are for data to be used to train AI systems, according to lawyers, state media reports, and analysts. It seems like, at least temporarily, there's a possibility for Tesla to transfer some FSD data from China to the US, but it does seem to be a temporary thing. We're getting some more clarification on today's announcement regarding FSD data in China. Is Tesla working hard to bring FSD to China? Of course, yes. But is the data cross-border list released by the Lingyang Free Trade Zone today related to this? Absolutely not, says Chris Zhang. The data list of the Lingyang Free Trade Zone involves, number 1, transnational manufacturing, number 2, global and R&D testing, and number 3, global after-sales service, and number 4, global trade of used cars. He called the official to confirm that this list has nothing to do with FSD. In fact, the data collected by FSD meets the official definition of core data, and such data is prohibited from leaving the country. Okay, so we have more clarity now. It's not as good as it first appeared, but overall, restrictions are easing, so that's a good sign, which could lead into Tesla perhaps being able to transfer some of that FSD data eventually, at least maybe for some period of time. Hopefully that happens. We'll see, but overall, definitely not bad news, good news. Tesla has just increased the price of the Model 3 Performance in the US by $1,000 to $55,000, so it still qualifies for the full $7,500 EV tax credit. In the meantime, Tesla also increased the price of the white interior by $500 for the Model 3 rear-wheel drive and long range by $500, making the white interior now a $2,000 option on these cheaper trims. But on the performance trim, all interiors are free. But to qualify for the $7,500 tax credit, you must choose Stealth Gray, otherwise the vehicle will be over $55,000, making it ineligible for the credit. So that's one reason why the white interior is now free. It's not clear how many Model 3 Performances Tesla is selling. Omar thinks that demand is off the charts, and in China, Tesla is launching a new promotion. So with this promotion, buyers can choose between a zero interest option or a zero down payment option. This is valid for both the Model 3 and the Model Y, but the offer ends on June 30th. So now that the first half of the quarter is over, we are seeing some of these end of the quarter incentives. You cannot combine these two though. You have to choose either zero interest or zero down. Tesla has won approval for its expansion of its Gigaberlin factory after meeting between community members and local officials. The meeting actually took place under police protection. There were 19 people that were able to vote, and out of these 19, 11 voted in favor of Tesla. So if Tesla had 2 votes less, there could have been problems. However, interestingly, only 6 people voted against the expansion, with the others abstaining. Tesla is also going to get a new rail yard, making it easier to get things in and out of the factory. If you remember earlier, Tesla had a slightly different plan. It was going to clear a bit more forest area, but the number of trees cleared has been greatly reduced while still being able to do everything that Tesla really needs to do with the infrastructure and expansion. And the new station will make a big difference because right now there are 1,900 truck trips per day. So after a failed vote in February and after working on some compromises, local politicians understand the value of Tesla and approved everything, but the on average 60 years old local population less so, unfortunately. The average age in that area though is 48. But of course the people that actually end up voting, they are usually older, so they have more influence. And we saw before that Tesla actually had strong support from young people, not so much from the older population. In the meantime, FSD supervised V12.4 is supposed to roll out to Tesla employees this weekend. So it could be as soon as tomorrow or Sunday. James says we need to read takes like this along with the positive ones to get a sense of how things truly are. This is the first run in the Tesla Model S with FSD V12.3.6 trial. It was an 8-mile round trip in the rain to take a kid to school and back. 5 total disengagements, but FSD is going to work worse right now if it's raining. 3 going to school and 2 coming back. 2 of them were me using an abundance of caution, and it might have done the right thing, maybe. So number 1, school bus heading towards me, opposite direction, about to stop, no lights on. Yeah, the car actually decided to accelerate, which made me uncomfortable. I know where the school bus stops are in my neighborhood. It was doing the right thing, but I didn't feel safe since I knew the bus was about to stop and it decided to speed up. Number 2, it was not going right on red or even creeping up to do it, and I decided to take over since it was rush hour. I've actually never seen it not do this on V10, so it was weird. Number 3, school zone. It didn't slow down with the 25-mile-per-hour flashing light. I wasn't surprised here. I ended up driving to the school anyway from here since it was only a few hundred feet. Number 4, I actually had a very similar intervention just now. I don't think I would have hit anything, but it would have been very close. I just took over. It had a green left turn arrow and took the left turn way too sharp. It was going to hit the center median curb, so I went into rim protection mode and took over. And number 5, incorrect turn lane usage. It attempted to use a right turn lane to go straight. I've seen this in the past on V10 on highways where it'll see the split with the white line for the right turn lane. Sometimes it gets into the right turn lane instead of staying straight. He will give it another go because of the rain. Maybe it was just because of the rain, but so far he's definitely not looking to subscribe after his free trial expires. It's too much babysitting for him. In the meantime, Omar just posted another video. It's a 1-hour drive and it has no interventions. In South Korea, Tesla launched a Tesla loyalty program promotion. Basically, you get almost $2,000 if you owned a Tesla vehicle before. And there's this article in Korean which says that the person who was in charge of Tesla's charging in South Korea resigned. He might have been let go. We don't really know. This is from Baidu's earnings call on Baidu's robotaxi business in China. Baidu now claims cumulative autonomous rides of 6 million with customers. Baidu is now moving towards achieving unit economics break-even for Apollo Go. To make this happen, our strategy is to reach break-even unit economics in key regions and then replicate the success in other regions. Baidu is now offering their autonomous technology via licensing to other China OEMs as well. There are a few problems with Baidu here. For example, when you call a robotaxi, you actually get a robotaxi with a person driving the vehicle or monitoring the vehicle. For her to get an actual robotaxi without anyone inside the vehicle, it basically took 4 hours. She had to go to a specific location where you can get a robotaxi without anyone inside. So she called another one, and here's another person in the robotaxi. And here's my favorite part.
Fully self-driving robotaxis by the end of this year. But not everyone can ride. A notice pops up and warns no young children, pregnant women, elderly, the infirm, or anyone with a bad heart.
Gary Black updated his positives and negatives for Tesla's stock. Number 1, EV adoption remains good. Number 2, Elon Musk's compensation package passes. He sees that as a positive, not a negative. Interest rates going down. Number 4, higher FSD take rates and a licensing deal potentially happening this year, maybe. Next generation vehicle launching in 2026. So he doesn't think it's coming next year. But I think he's referring to the actual next generation vehicle, not the vehicle that's in between the platforms. He still thinks Optimus production begins in 2026. As for negatives, Q2 and 2024 delivery estimates are too high. The price war in China, Model Y inventories are at all-time highs. Year-over-year auto revenue growth is declining. There's a PE re-rating risk with negative growth, and there's also election risk. Gary's price target is $200 for Tesla's stock. I think he's missing some important ones. Increased pace of FSD updates, and these updates seem to be significant. The next update could be fairly significant based on what Elon Musk is saying, but we really need to see it and try it ourselves. But Elon did say the intervention rate is going to go down by 5 to 10 times. That's a big deal. I would definitely put it on this list. Tesla, on the other hand, continues to make great strides in FSD and autonomous driving, but earnings estimates keep falling because of price cuts, and now ironically falling delivery estimates, usually price cuts, increase volumes. The next major catalyst is the June 13th annual meeting, where Elon's 2018 compensation package is likely again to be overwhelmingly approved by shareholders, which should eliminate any possibility of Elon leaving. Hugely positive. I personally think even if Elon's compensation package does not get approved, I don't think Elon would just completely leave Tesla. Would he spend less time at Tesla? Yeah. So I definitely don't see it as a positive for the stock in the long term if he doesn't get his compensation package reapproved. Tesla chair Robin Denholm to the Financial Times said, "We are very early days of the campaign and we will be meeting with shareholders all the way through to the day of the vote. The vote is pretty important for us as a company, but I also think it's important for corporate America as well. Every shareholder that I've ever talked to says that Elon's compensation plan worked. They actually appreciate the fact that it drove a lot of the shareholder value. The plan was originally seen as impossible, ludicrous, overly ambitious. Is there serious concern at Tesla that the vote will fail?" Sawyer is strongly downplaying this. It's more just about being proactive in getting as much support as possible as Tesla recognizes this is an important vote. No. If that was the case, we would have seen this from the very beginning, the moment the voting has started. Instead, what we are seeing, people have been voting. Now Tesla has some good insight into what is happening and what is likely to happen, and what we are seeing makes them do this: campaign for more votes, because the outcome is not certain. So if you haven't voted yet, make sure to vote, because the final outcome could be pretty close. I think if a good portion of retail Tesla stock investors vote, I think the vote will pass. But if we don't, then I don't think it will pass. When asked about Musk's plans should he lose, Denholm said, "There's always a risk, but he's not holding a gun to anybody's head. He hasn't said one way or another, quite frankly. And do I believe he's committed to Tesla? Absolutely. But if Elon doesn't get this vote passed, I don't know if that commitment would remain." I thought this comment was quite interesting from Denholm here. "The court ruled that Tesla's board had failed to act in shareholders' interests, criticizing directors as supine servants of an overweening master, and Denholm as having a lackadaisical approach to her oversight obligations." But she calls those findings as absolute BS and crap. I like this. She also says ensuring Musk is paid in full was essential to keep him motivated and reward him for generating returns of more than 1,000% in 5 years. And pay very close attention to this. This is very crucial, and it, I think, at least partially, definitely explains why the board is doing what it's doing. On the new pay vote, a simple majority must be in favor, excluding those owned by Musk, obviously, and his brother Kimball. However, the path to reincorporate in Texas is steeper, requiring a majority of all shares outstanding, those not cast, are counted as a no. It's like Mount Everest. It's a huge hill to climb because getting 50% of the shareholders to vote, let alone what they vote for, is quite tough. Now, some people will say, oh, it's no big deal. I don't need to vote because probably Elon is going to get his compensation package. He's not leaving Tesla because of that. And if we don't change our incorporation location from Delaware to Texas, no big deal. But not having incorporation location moved from Delaware to Texas would also be a big failure for the vote, because then let's say the board designs a new compensation package for Elon. Immediately, automatically, there's going to be another lawsuit, and the outcome of that lawsuit will be uncertain because we know what Delaware already thinks about Elon Musk. So even if Elon gets a new compensation package, and let's say this one is only about voting control, increasing his control of Tesla, not increasing his economics. The main reason for creating a compensation package is to increase someone's motivation. But if you think that you can achieve all of the targets set out in the compensation plan, but you're not certain if you would actually get it, would it really increase Elon's motivation? And check this out. James is now concerned maybe the vote is not going to really pass. Add on top of this challenge the fact that some will vote against. For example, we know about Leo Cogman. Maybe the risk of not having the votes is higher than I thought. What is plan B if this fails? He has one post with 4 million views that is extremely negative about Tesla. So I need to show you this first before I show you the negative one, so you understand what kind of thinking he has. If you don't understand Lucid Motors' technological superiority or the commitment from the Saudis with their $1 trillion in assets. If you think Lucid is just another EV startup, you shouldn't be investing in Lucid. Do your own research outside of X and WhatsApp universities. You'll like what you'll find. Okay, you mean if I invested in Lucid when it was first possible to invest in Lucid after it IPO'd, I would still be sitting on huge losses? And the people that FOMO'd at the very top, and you will find quite a few of those, they would be sitting on 95% losses today. Now, if you happen to have FOMO'd at the very top of Tesla stock, you are sitting on some losses. But the big difference here is if you have been a long-term investor in Tesla stock, you have made money. Lots of it. So here's that post with 4 million views that's very negative about Tesla and Elon Musk. And notice how this account is also private, basically. It's an anonymous account, and only those that he mentions can reply. So you mean if there were some Tesla employees that completely disagree with him, they cannot reply here and we won't see it here? If you have a strong stomach, I would suggest to pause and read. None of what he's saying changes anything about what Elon Musk has accomplished. Anyway, he seems to be either an investor in Lucid stock, which would make sense why he's bashing Tesla, but he does say that he worked for 10 years at Tesla. It's an anonymous account, so for all we know, this could be Gordon Johnson making stuff up. I didn't mean to pick on Gordon Johnson. I mean, any bear. It could be any bear making this stuff up. How do we know that he actually worked at Tesla? In the meantime, while that account is promoting Lucid so much, here's a son of King Salman, and he has a new car that is obviously Lucid, right? Tesla begins removing Steam support in new vehicles. Someone said it worked horribly anyway, used it twice in the Model S and never again. They need a proper solution for games. I never tried it myself, so I don't know, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it worked well. Fred is clarifying his position. I really don't understand sticking to this surface interpretation. Elon not getting paid is not something I'm advocating, so I like that. I think Elon should get paid, but I also think shareholders need a way to force Elon and the board to fix the governance issues that led to the deal being rescinded and led to other current issues, like Elon freely threatening shareholders to divert AI projects from Tesla if he doesn't get 25% of the company. It's a pretty simple position. Separately, I understand some Tesla shareholders have no problem with these governance issues because they 100% trust Elon. I'm just not with you on that. That's it. I think governance is needed. I can certainly understand this position. To some degree, it can certainly make sense. I disagree with it, but I can respect this opinion, certainly. Before, to me, it sounded like the way Fred viewed the situation was more of a confidence vote for Elon Musk. I don't really want to change the governance of Tesla because that earlier governance is what led Tesla to being this successful. If the goal is just to preserve wealth, okay, I understand this position, but if the goal is to grow more and occasionally make radical moves, and looking at Elon's track record, his radical moves in the end work out when you look at all of them put together. Individually, of course, you can find, okay, this one didn't work or that one didn't work, but overall it always ends in a good way eventually. In the meantime, meet Kevin is shorting Tesla, and that just cost him a Model Y. Ooh. Well, he knew what he was doing. Well, it's humble for him to say this. Only idiots short Tesla. That's it for today's video. Make sure to click the like button so that we can make sure that there's no shadow ban on this channel. There's another video from my other channel showing that it's only getting about half of the views it would normally get because my videos are only shown to about 50% of the regular viewers in the first few days. And then after the first 3 days, it does push it out a little bit more, but because it's no longer news, it's old, no one's interested. So I appreciate everyone clicking the like button. That really helps. And going forward, I'm only publishing the full daily news videos on this channel, not on the old channel anymore. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. Otherwise, YouTube may stop showing you these videos completely. Subscribing sends YouTube a strong signal that this is a channel you want to watch.